For those of you who have been in the community for a while, this video may seem a bit redundant, but each month we get new guys and I've been seeing a lot of divisiveness in the community, so I'll just try to mitigate some of that. This video is bound to trigger some people because I'm going to address race, IQ, genetics, sexuality, politics, and all types of uncomfortable topics. MGTOW is a philosophy, not a movement. MGTOW is about embracing individuality, not joining a collective. MGTOW is apolitical. Some channels talk about politics more than others, and a lot of men in the community tend to lean towards the right, but MGTOW is not a political faction. We aren't marching for change or protesting. We've walked away. If you're seeking to infiltrate MGTOW and mobilize men to do your dirty work, that's not going to work because we can see right through you. This might surprise you because I definitely did not expect it when I first started this channel, but SJWs and feminists rarely leave hateful comments. The majority of the hate this channel gets is from the trad cucks, the men still on the plantation who see our freedom as a threat to their political battles. They see that their tactics are not effective, and so they try and bring those failed strategies into our domain. MGTOW has a different purpose for each man. Some men are using the philosophy and the community as a buffer until things get better, if they get better, and are only MGTOW as a reaction to the times. Others love the bachelor or the monk lifestyle. Some men are destroyed from a marriage or a long relationship and need support, and others are lost and trying to find their path through life without compromising on what is most important to them. There is no generalization that can be placed over the MGTOW community because its entire existence relies on the unique path of the individual. I have a pretty strict rule of creating a male space through my call-in shows and my Discord community. I've had women call in and I give them a question I know they won't be able to answer, and then I hang up and clear the lines for a man to share his thoughts. Besides this, MGTOW is the most diverse platform. Race is not a factor for going MGTOW. Any race, any age, any type of man can go MGTOW. Since MGTOW criticizes feminists and SJWs, it attracts shitposters that bring racism into our discussions, and that's what happens with an open community. IQ is not a requirement for accepting and understanding MGTOW. Race and IQ is a real discussion with real data behind it, but that isn't a barrier of any kind to understanding this practical philosophy. Racial purity has nothing to do with being able to observe female nature and think for yourself. The smartest men are often the most blind to what is right in front of them. Look at all the top men in our society and their inability to accept what their senses are trying to tell them. MGTOW doesn't require IQ, it requires a combination of experience, observation, and introspection. If a man can experience the negative aspects of female nature and gynocentrism, observe others dealing with it, and reflect and ask why, he can find MGTOW. If he's so intellectually proud that he believes he has the answer for everything, and that women today are more civilized than our barbaric ancestors, he chains himself to the reality he wishes to see, and not the one around him. Genetics does have a role in a man's MGTOW path. If a man was denied female validation his entire life because of his appearance, he will naturally have a much more harsh opinion on female nature, which might turn off some men who don't have that same resentment or bitterness. I believe there's a place for both types of men. Men who are experienced with women need that dose of raw red pills to knock women off the pedestal, while men stuck with that hatred need that next step to finding peace of mind. Trying to determine the credibility of a MGTOW is a futile effort because each man decides for himself what is best for his path. The MGTOW philosophy naturally protects itself from most infiltration attempts because it has two core principles that must be adhered to: no marriage and no cohabitation. If you meet a man who advocates for any of those, he discredits himself as a MGTOW. Besides those two core principles, the rest is up to your own interpretation. A MGTOW can date, have casual sex, stay in monk mode, use prostitutes, own a doll. It doesn't matter because you're only supposed to be worried about your own happiness. You'll find different opinions about all of those options, but at the end of the day, you need to make your own cost-benefit analysis and decide what is best for you. If you can't accept another man's decisions, you are just as bound by ideological dogma as the feminists you hate so much.